Is it going?
Yep, we're live. We're rolling. All right, guys. Today we are here with Alex, our first special guest on the podcast here. Alex, let's just start. Tell everyone who you are. Give us a little tiny touch on, where are you from? What are you doing here in Miami? Are you living here? Fill us up. Fill us in a little bit here.
Thank you so much for inviting me into the show. My name is Alex. I'm originally from Austria, and I'm here in Miami since August last year. I love to travel, and especially to make money at the same time. And I'm super excited for this conversation today.
Awesome. So I know we talked yesterday or 2 days ago now, quite a bit. You said you've lived in 5 countries now in the last 3 years, or was it 8 in the last 5 years?
Approximately 8, yeah.
Okay, so I think obviously when I hear that, I want to hear more. So you want to give us a rundown, where did you start? What was that like? What was the motivation behind it? I know you said COVID was involved. I know you said, you were a remote entrepreneur and you wanted to see different lifestyles. And then you now feel like you've kind of landed in the right spot for you here in Miami, at least for the time being. So kind of walk us through that a little bit.
Exactly. You know how I grew up, I was like, money was never an issue, but traveling was always difficult. So for example, I only traveled maybe once to Croatia. It's like a 1-hour flight from Austria, or even we took a car back then. And I always had the feeling like, how is life somewhere else?
Yeah.
All right. So like, how is it? Because when you live 25 years in the same country, and then you're wondering, it's like, how is it there? How is it in Asia? How it is in the States? Maybe Dominican Republic, like stuff like that. You just start dreaming, especially me in my situation. And how I got into the traveling was I started network marketing because I worked as a chef in Austria, and I realized I cannot work for somebody else the rest of my life. Because if I see what I'm doing right now, I never have the chance to break out of the system and live an extraordinary life. Because I'm basically here to do this until I'm 65. And then live from the amount of money, like 40% what I earn, what's even not enough to live right now. So how should I ever supposed to have a great life? So if this is truly the thing what I have to do, just shoot me immediately. I mean, like, why should I do this?
What's like the money situation in Austria? Like obviously the U.S. like the dollar is worth more probably here than it is over, or vice versa. So like you were in culinary, you were a chef. It was like a salary.
Yeah, it was like a salary, but the thing was it was $1,800 a month what I earned.
But that was a livable wage though?
Yeah, we got the accommodation provided.
Oh, okay.
So we got the food in the hotel.
Okay.
But you worked like 10, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
So, and I saw people, coming in, driving Lambos, Ferrari, spending one night for the same amount what they earn in a month.
Yeah.
So I was like, what's going on here? It's like, because I don't have like an entrepreneurial background.
Yeah.
So I was always wondering, like, what do they understand what I didn't catch so far?
Yeah.
There must be like another way how to make money.
Yeah.
So and I was like, you cannot tell me that I've worked this for like $1,800. I can never say I buy a Ferrari for 300 grand. It's like, what are those people doing?
Yeah.
What did your parents do?
My mom is working as a, like in a hospital, but not as a nurse, like a secretary.
Okay.
And my dad was a professional soccer player.
Very
he was
cool.
a professional soccer player.
Yeah,
that's sweet,
nice.
bro. So another thing, I think, to give some context for us three, but then also for anyone watching this, you say like, living in one country your whole life for 25 years, you wonder what life is like somewhere else. But I think people that are based in the U.S., like the U.S. is like a continent, damn near,
exactly.
right? Like, if you stayed in the U.S. for 25 years, but you lived in New York and Colorado and Miami and Texas, you could get a whole bunch of lifestyles. Austria, give us some context there. I mean, how small of a country are we talking? Is that like a state in the U.S.? Is the whole country very similar? Like everything is like cookie cutter?
Bro, this is crazy how I grew up. I lived in a town, and the length of the town is 1.5 miles.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's crazy, with more cows than
Yes.
So I had to find a way how to make money online, because what should I do? I even have to drive to the supermarket, like it's a 15 minutes car drive.
Yeah.
So it's like you need to find another way how to reach people.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, the food is great, the landscape is great. So for example, I would never trade my upbringing into like with a different life, right? Because when I grew up, we had so many beautiful things because the rivers, you know, like you play with the wood, you try to catch a fish, you know, it's like you have like those special moments. And I think as a child, it's amazing if you have those experiences, but it's getting also boring when you're a little bit older. Mm-hmm. So, and you know what's interesting? When I started the business, I always worked from different cafes and restaurants. So, and when I went for like let's say at 10 a.m., I went in a restaurant or like in a cafe to work a little bit. I was just surrounded by old people.
Yeah.
You know, because they're not the young people, they're all working. So, and I was just surrounded by 60 years and above.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I don't know, like, I like to be surrounded also with young people, you know?
Yeah.
So and that was crazy. And how I got through Bali, and this is where all the traveling, the addiction started kind of, was because I was so overwhelmed of the beauty of the country. So, and when you're from Austria, it's like everything is like, there's no sea. So you have to drive 6 hours to Italy. That's the closest way how to see the ocean. Mm-hmm. And when I was there in Bali, I was so overwhelmed. It's so beautiful and that clear ocean. So I immediately asked myself, what do I need to do to live at a place like that?
Yeah.
So because that was my dream, and that dream kept me going. And before I qualified for the trip in Bali, they announced it on the incentive on the event. So we had like, you sell basically the products, is how the business worked, and you had different compensation structures, like how to get to this. And I was so motivated because they announced Bali, and I focused on selling more, getting more people in the business, because I had this goal in front of me. Mm-hmm. So, and even sometimes I caught myself, I was just working in the evening because I said, I want to qualify for this. And it was so crazy. Sometimes I just fell asleep at midnight, and I woke up at 2 a.m. with the phone in my face, and I just took the phone and I was like, holy shit. And then I replied the last message, and then I put it away and I slept, you know? And I did this for at least like 2 months. So, and then I qualified, and then I was there, and I was like, wow, what do I need to do to be there? And I was like, okay, if I make a couple $1,000 a month, that's completely doable. So, and for me, I had this always in mind. I was like, I need ocean, palm trees, sea, every day. Yeah. Not just 2 weeks a day. Not just 2 weeks a year, or like what people do in Austria, you know, because like, for example, if you go to Bali from Austria, it's like a 14 hours flight. Even from here, it's like crazy distance. Yeah. And or even when you're from Europe and you even cross the Atlantic Ocean, everything up there is compared to paradise. So when I moved to Dominican Republic during the pandemic, that was a wild story. That was so crazy because people thought on Instagram when they watched my videos, I was in front of a green screen. And I put the palm trees in my videos because they couldn't capture it, that a guy is traveling during the pandemic and living a completely different life. Yeah. So when I did all the videos, I'm like, this is what this dude is doing, it's fake. He's not even there, it's just green screen. I was like, what, are you fucking kidding me? Just give me a video call. Stupid ass. So, and that's completely crazy. And yeah, that was how it went so far.
So, go ahead.
So when you moved to the Dominican Republic during like the pandemic, what was the business at the time doing? Like, was that when you had like your first breakthrough? So you're like, hey, now I have an opportunity where I could move out of Austria and go to a place like Dominican, have my freedom to an extent because everything that was going on in 2020, of course. But like, was that like when you first thought that you like are getting there on making it?
That was interesting because I had only 1 month before the same amount what I earned in a full-time job. And it was not much. It was around $2,500. But the way how I made it was interesting because I earned that amount by just messaging people on Instagram and Facebook, inviting them in calls, showing them how they can make money during the pandemic online from their home without wasting the time. And that led to 2,500. Afterwards, they fired me. I was a marketing manager for a Swedish DSA drink nutrition company. Yep. And because I proved myself, I can make money by texting people, inviting people on calls, so I had that confidence. And I was very productive because, you know, I had like, you can do Zoom calls, like 6 in an evening, half an hour, back to back, but you cannot meet so many people, different one in real life, especially when you live somewhere on the countryside.
Yeah.
So, and I found out they had like the different regulations in Austria. You know, in the beginning, you couldn't even allow, it wasn't even allowed to meet people.
Yeah.
Right? So completely weird. And then they had like, now you can meet people, and people wanted to meet. And I was like, I don't want to meet you because it takes me too much time.
Yeah.
So because if I drive somewhere, I drive like an hour, then like an hour meeting, an hour back, I waste 3 hours. But I can also make it in 3 hours, I can make 6 appointments. So what I did, I was like, I need to do something different. So I decided I need to make an adventure. So I booked a one-way flight to Dominican Republic, and I decided just to go there. And I had an Airbnb, I booked it for 3 weeks, and then I was like, let's go. So, and to answer your questions, I had like 2,500 approximately, but it wasn't stable. I just had it 1 month. But for me, that was enough confidence to say, I'm gonna do this now. And then I was there, and it was crazy because I realized I don't speak a single word Spanish.
Did you go down there by yourself, or did you have your girlfriend at the time? 'Cause
No,
know
I was alone.
So you're by yourself entirely. That's
Exactly.
awesome.
I was alone, and at this time it was crazy. I dated a girl in Austria,
Okay.
and and she sorry at her place, and she asked me like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I go to Dominican Republic," and you know,
Like, see ya.
yeah. So she was like, "Yeah, but how, why? But do you come back?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just need to go." But why not staying here? And I was like, I need to follow that dream. Because the dream was big, you know?
Yeah.
Because I had this all the time in my mind, like palm trees, ocean, beach, everything. You know? And she was working at a Ferrari dealership.
Oh.
But I couldn't take her. You
Yeah.
know? So, and we stayed in contact like for a month, and like, she asked me like all the time, when do you come back? When do you come back? And I was like, I don't know. And then I know like after 6 months, it's like you just stop somehow.
Yeah. How was that like time alone? Like while you were like in the beginning of like your
Bro,
entrepreneurial
that
career?
was paradise.
Paradise.
You know, it was truly, it was mind bending. It was amazing. I was at the beach, and I was sitting there, and you know I always had the dream. Maybe when I'm 30, I can live at the ocean, you know, where it's beautiful. And I was 25.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there watching the sunset. I was like, holy shit. And I remember there was once a picture where I saw it as like your plan, and it's like a house. And then you see God's plan, it's like a mansion.
Yeah.
Right? So, and my plan was like with 30, but I had it already with 25. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. But at the same time, the fear kicked in that if I'm not able to make money, I have to go back to Austria.
Yeah.
So, and that was an intrinsic fire what I had. I was just hammering people, messaging, getting on calls, like every day. If there would be like somebody chasing me, you know, I had like the feeling, I had like kind of a role play. You know, that people say like, you need to go back to Austria, come back, you don't make enough money there, you know, and that motivated me so much that I was like, no, I don't want to go back, you know, I need to live this, I want to live this life. And that was crazy, man.
When did you start to learn sales? Because like you were a chef. So like, were you watching YouTube videos? Was there any like
No,
mentors
the
that you
thing
had?
was how I got started was when I was working as a chef and I didn't like it anymore. So I moved to a different city in Austria, and it was interesting that I was working as a waiter. So I was not cooking all the time, so I was just selling drinks and meals and stuff like that. And I realized one thing, with my energy and with my charisma, and when I'm convinced about the thing what I'm selling, it's very easy for me. So
Yeah.
people came, for example, in Austria we have like a special drink, it's called Spritzer. It's just white wine and sparkling water. And people, they just drink it like crazy, you know? And that was just €2 or something like this back like 6-7 years ago. And there was another cocktail that was like $12, right? So like, and I was like, I just sell this all the time because I just want to practice my sales skills. And when all the women, they were coming, you know, like the students didn't have a lot of money. They were like, yeah, I want to do this. And I was like, no, this is the perfect drink for you. And then they spent like ridiculous amounts of money because I sold them all the time the thing, you know? And then I realized I don't get paid more because I do this. People at the end, people were mostly pissed because then they saw the bill and they thought that, like that's the same price what they had in mind, what they pay for the drink, right? Mm-hmm. So they were angry, but they paid a lot of money. So I realized I'm good at sales. And then in the next step, I was thinking I need to sell something where I can keep the margin somehow.
Yep.
So and I started network marketing. So because they had like the system, they had like, it's kind of a franchise, it's kind of a McDonald's. You get the whole finished system and you just sell it. And you help other people do the same. And you get like 30 to 45% commission of every product that you sell. So now I start to sell protein shakes. I was like, hey, look, I'm in shape. You also need to be in shape. Look at you, get a protein shake. That's good stuff. And this is how I made a little bit of money aside. And this is how I practice my sales skills, just by talking and talking to people.
I can see like being a waiter, just like someone's like trying to get a drink, they're asking for advice, you're just asking them like a ton of questions. You're like, definitely the $12. No matter how they answer the question.
Upsell.
Exactly. I was like, you know what you need? You need this drink. It's like, it's gin, it's wild berry. You have even raspberries in it. You know how good that looks like? And it tastes like heaven. You make a sip and you
So
feel
you don't even drink, right?
Yes. But I was like, you need to do it because I was selling them, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
why not?
we have all been to a restaurant and, you ask for like your server's recommendation and they recommend the most expensive thing on the menu, right? Like that has happened to me a million times. Whenever I go somewhere I've never been before, I always want to say, what are you known for? What's the special here?
It's like, what do you recommend? The ribeye,
Yep.
tuna tartare.
Yeah, the $200 this, that. It's like, okay, well, what else do you recommend? Because I don't want to buy that. So, no, that's funny. And you're right. I mean, maybe you're getting a little bit more in tips, but even in Austria, it's not really a tipping culture, is it?
The thing is, when I came here, that was crazy. I was like all the time looking in the menus, and then I was like, oh, it's not that expensive, you know. And then you get the bill, and there's like, huh? It's like, how did that happen, you know? And it's just, so what did I miss on the menu, right? So in Austria, it's never included. So it's always like volunteer, you just tip what you want.
And from my understanding, tipping is not really commonplace, and especially not 20%.
No, the only thing where it is common is only in restaurants. But not here. For example, even when I go to the barber, it's like the people that I pay and he's standing like this. so
I hope you type on 20%.
You know, it's crazy, right?
Looking over your shoulder.
And they're like, zero.
anything you do, it's like you pump your own gas and they're like, would you like to tip? It's like,
Yeah.
I pump my own gas. What am I tipping for?
Exactly.
Like,
Miami's the worst. It's like
This is really wild.
20% is already included into like almost every single bill. And then it's like, they turn the screen, it's like, all right, do you want to tip an additional 10, 15, or 20% on top of the 20% included? You're like, what?
Yeah.
They won't even tell you.
nope,
They're
sometimes
like,
they
do you
don't.
want to tip? And then you have to ask them, it's like, oh, well, was the tip already included? And they're like, yeah, it was, like 18.5%. As if, like, I already knew.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
This is really crazy.
I saw a Sean Kelly clip, literally like an hour ago before we even did this episode. And he's in LA, or he's in Vegas, but he went to LA or something. He was doing a podcast, he was talking to a lady. And he said that he was in an Italian restaurant. And there was a non-negotiable 2.5% mental health tax that he had to pay.
What?
For the waitress.
Mental health.
2.5% mental health tax
Where was this?
in LA, some Italian restaurant.
Dude, it makes sense that it's in LA, bro. What a fucking shithole of a place, dude. I can't stand it. I mean, this shit is just ridiculous. Like, there's a service fee, there's a processing fee, there's a fucking mental health fee, there's a reparations fee probably. It's like every single thing, bro. And it's all just so that the companies don't have to fucking pay the servers themselves. Like, that's all it is. It's like I can pay my servers $5 an hour and then add 40% fees on top of the customer and then pay my servers with that. It's crazy. Everything is getting so expensive. And the point of tipping is supposed to be that you had a great experience and you are giving it as a gesture of your appreciation for your server or your barber or whoever. You go, you get a great haircut. You're like, I want to give something extra. It doesn't feel that way when it's like 20%
so
mandatory.
Well, they look at how we go about paying income taxes and everything like that, and they're like, yeah, it's just like replicate this business model with
Basically.
like, tipping culture. So now corporate America can save money on paying out the employees. It's like you're gonna pay your taxes, and then you're gonna also pay our overhead expenses too.
When it started
It's
during
insane.
COVID, it was like in 2020. It was like, hey, we need people to start working in restaurants again, so we can actually get takeout. So people were super appreciative. It's like, oh, you're working, like I'll tip you like 20%, like, and like that's where that culture came in, and then started dying out a little bit with like COVID, and now it's just kept up with all the tipping.
Yeah.
It got worse.
Oh yeah, way worse.
Everything went up though, like during COVID, and then like when that whole transition kind of went away, where we kind of went back to normal, like everything just stayed the same.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people were jacking up the prices because they're like, oh, like we're losing business, so like you have to raise like everything like 15-20%, and then it's like everything, the entire country's open again, and it's like, nah, it's still.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep it the same.
Yeah.
We're not bringing it back down. No. Yeah, it's crazy because they realize people will pay the premium for it, and I mean we're just printing money out of the ass, so they're just like.
The thing is, like, people pay it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
What else are you gonna do?
You have no option.
Yeah, you're gonna not go out to eat. People won't do that. I mean, they're gonna go out, and if they want to go to 11 and 11 has a 20% fee included on every single purchase, then that's what they're gonna pay. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, I got a Corona last night, Didn't realize that there was the tip was added in the first time.
It's $9, right?
Yeah, and it was like a $9 drink, and I paid $13 for it, bro.
Because you tipped twice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a service fee, and there was 18%, and then I tipped 7% on top of that.
You know what's crazy? It's like they'll charge you $100, $200 at the door, and then then they turn it around and be like, all right, like how much do you want to tip me for running your credit card to walk into my property?
Yeah.
It's like I just paid you $200, and now you want me to tip you because you ran my card?
Yeah. It's crazy, bro. Some of this stuff is, I mean, like for example, if I go to pick up food, like I don't tip if I'm doing pickup. If I'm carrying out, like if I order a pizza, go pick it up, I'm not tipping on that. Well, like who am I tipping? I'm tipping the chef for making the pizza that he's being paid to make.
You're literally doing his job.
It's not even the chef that gets that money. It's just it's the hostess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the hostess literally turned around, read a slip that said my name on it, picked up the pizza and put it in front of me. I'm like, I don't need to tip you 20% to do that. Like, that's why I drove here. If I have a delivery driver come to me, of course I'm going to tip them because delivery drivers don't make shit. But yeah, it's just crazy. Like everything is tipped. I'm pretty sure soon enough we're going to pay our rent and our landlords are going to be like, would you like to tip 10, 15 or 20%
Shut up, get out of here.
rent? Like it's crazy, bro. I think there's just no, there's people are so out of touch with reality financially right now. So, and I'm actually curious. Now you said you left Austria. First stop was the Dominican Republic. Now I know I've spent a decent amount of time in the Dominican Republic in my life, and I know that it's a very different standard of living. Money goes way further, culturally very different. Now you were doing Airbnb. It was that like $50 a night, $20 a night? What was your expenses like while you were living there? Was it cheaper than Austria? Was it the same? I'm curious.
That was paradise, man. So I came there, and sometimes I had the feeling if I would own the island, because there were no tourists, because it was the pandemic, and people are really starving. It was crazy, because like when I walked at the beach, there are some people, they came to me and say, can I get a bottle of water? Because they just depend on the tourism. So I had an Airbnb, and that was actually the first time I booked an Airbnb, and I didn't understand the like entire place and room, and I was just like, I didn't have so much time to check, you know. So I just booked it. I booked a room. It was like a house with like 2 bedrooms, and I lived with a lady, and she spoke German as well, and she was married with a Dominican Republic guy.
Oh.
So, and I paid, I would say for 3 weeks it was $600.
Okay.
Oh, it's not bad.
So
Yeah, not at all.
and that was interesting. So after the 3 weeks came to an end, I was like, what do I do now? Because what should I can go back to Austria or I don't know. And then I asked her, I was like, can I extend another week? And she was like, yeah, let's go, why not? And then I paid her another week. And then I met somebody at the beach, and that was a Russian woman around like 40 years old, and she had a beauty studio, like offering like facial treatments and stuff like this. And they invited me to like a catamaran, and we did a little boat tour. And I said to her, I said, look, I don't know what to do. It's like I come from Austria, and should I stay here? And because it was crazy, you know, I couldn't speak with someone because I didn't speak the language. No tourism, nobody spoke English there. And so many mosquitoes stung me in my feet, so I couldn't even walk. And on the 3rd day, I was in jail. So for 1 night.
Wait,
And
what?
So wait, I'll tell the story.
Oh, okay.
But then to finish up, and then she said to me and looks like, but what do you want to do? I said, come on. And then there was like the music playing, you know, and we were on the catamaran. It was like 30 degrees Celsius.
Celsius.
So then I called, shit is cold in the Dominican Republic. and then I was like, yeah, I mean, why not? And then she said, yeah, just rent a place. And I was like, okay. And then they had like a rental agreement, and everything was in Spanish, so I didn't understand anything. But I just signed it. I just wrote one thing.
Don't do that. Don't do that at home.
I just say 6 meses, like 6 months. That's like the
Yeah.
only thing what I understood. I was like, fuck, couldn't be that bad.
I
So
see.
and it was just $400 a month.
Wow.
And so it was 10 minutes away from the beach. And so I just ended up there. And I was like, if I can stay 3 weeks here, what should I do? I mean, I can stay another 6 months here for sure. So then I just organized an insurance, because my travel insurance expired because when you are longer, and so I just keep my life there.
Awesome. And now you were in jail on the third day? What was that?
It was interesting because I couldn't talk with someone in this place. And I was so happy when I saw, after the third day, the first white people that I could talk to, And so I walked at the beach and they saw me and they were like also happy that they saw me. And they were a couple from America. Bro, that's the crazy story. And and they were like, hey, do you speak English? And I speak English, so finally I can talk with someone, And then they're like, yeah, we stay in the hotel. It was like an all-inclusive resort. And you're like, hey, do you want to come with us for dinner? The guy invited me, the couple. And I was like, so why not? It's like, for me, it's like, I was like, what should happen? And he was like, yeah, it's an all-inclusive resort. And then I was thinking, all-inclusive, I don't think that I can go there.
I don't think you can, yeah.
So, and she was like, yeah, just go with us. But I need like an entry, like a wristband. She was like, yeah, just take my hair thing that is like the same.
Elastic or whatever.
Yeah, that is like the same
Color.
thickness than from the hotel. And then, but I had like only swim shorts and a tank top. So, and she was like, you cannot go to dinner like this. And I was like, yeah, let's go to our room. And then we go to the room, and the guy gave me his shorts and his shirt, and it was way too big for me. So I looked like shit. So and then we went to a Mexican restaurant, and they're like, okay, just come with us, and they just pretend that I'm part of them. And I didn't think, I was like, okay, and we had like a nice Mexican dinner. And then I went out of the hotel, and the mistake what I made, because we came through the beach, and I went out through the official entrance, and I just walked. And the guys are different there, they stand like with machine guns in front of the hotel. So that's like, or even in front of the supermarket, like with a huge pump gun. So it's like you just think twice that you do something wrong,
Yeah.
Crazy.
So and then and they go, hey, what are you doing here? And I was like, yeah, I was just in the hotel. What's your room number? I don't have a room number. I was like, how is that possible? And then they called the hotel, and I was like talking. I didn't understand anything. Then they came with a golf cart, picked me up, and brought me to the hotel director. And then they said, like, what are you doing here? And I was like, yeah, they invited me for dinner. I was like, how can they invite you? And I was like, I don't know. And they just maybe met each other at the beach, and now we have dinner. And they were like, well, it's not possible. And I was like, I didn't know. So, and I don't know where they came from. And there was like the police standing behind of me. And there was like, and I felt like someone was touching me from the back, and then they just put my handcuffs on it. And I was like, what are you doing? So, and I was like, you're going to jail. And I was like, what?
You're 25?
I was 25, yeah.
25.
So, and I just removed just one hand, and I was like, wait, before you put me the handcuffs on, can I just call a friend? And I had I was lucky that the guy was in the relationship with the girl I lived before. He was a Dominican Republic, like a local guy. So I called him. I was like, hey, bro, there's some shit going on. I was also afraid a little bit, like you are first time.
You're not
in
sure
in a foreign country.
Yeah.
foreign country.
I'm terrified.
Like 10,000 kilometers away. It's like not that someone is like coming and save you real quick.
Yeah.
So it's like the shit what you do. It's like you have to face it now. So I called him. I was like, hey, can you come to the police station? They just bring me there and blah blah blah. And he was like, yeah, can I come there? And he was like talking Spanish. I didn't understand anything. And he was like, yeah, you have to stand there over a night because we need to check all the security cameras. What did you do in the hotel? What did you do? Like how many, like which restaurants have you been and stuff like this. And he was like, but how long does it take? And he was like, yeah, definitely until the next morning. And then I was sitting there with my swim shorts and with my tank top at the police officer. And he was like, yeah, you cannot go out there. And he was like, yeah, you should go in the cells. And the other guy was also in jail 3 years. I didn't know that. He told me that afterwards because he shot a police guy in the stomach.
Jesus.
So that was why.
You only get 3 years for that?
Yeah.
It's a girl for life here.
No, he just shoot him in the stomach. Because he told me the story. They were on a party and he brought like a Jack Daniels 2-liter bottle. And for them it's a lot of money. That's like a month's salary for them.
Yeah.
And the police guy came and they just started to fight a little bit. And the police guy threw his bottle, his Jack Daniels, and then he pulled the gun, and he just tried to like remove the gun from him and shoot him in his stomach.
Dude from Boston.
And that was completely crazy. And then the police came and threw him in jail for like 3 years.
Jeez.
And he was like, yeah, and he was like, Alex, try not to go into the cell because everything is full of shit and mosquitoes, and you don't want to be there. And I was like, fuck, what should I do? Just to try to negotiate with them. And I was like, I cannot speak Spanish. And they were like, yeah. And then we just talked with the police guy, and he's like, yeah, pay him 500 pesos. That's like $8. That you can stay outside of this jail cell, just stay there on the metal bench overnight. And I was like, all right, it's like, I gotta do this now. And there was like a young police guy. He was like, I don't know, like 21. And I was talking to him during the night a little bit, and I was like, hey bro, what do you think? How long do you have to stay inside? And he was like, what did you do? And I was just in a hotel. And he was like, I think you can get out. If you pay money tomorrow, you can get out. And I was like, but how much? And he was like, I don't know.
Is it
$20?
$20?
Sure. No. And it was interesting. And then they on the next day, he was like, yeah, you have to speak to a lawyer. And then a lawyer called me, but I think everything was staged.
Yeah.
I had the feeling it was like, you need to speak a lawyer, and then...
It's all inside job.
And then we were like, you know what was crazy? You need to pay $500 now. And I was like, $500 for what? And then I get out, and they were like, yes. And $500 for whom is it? For the lawyer, $100 for the lawyer, $100 for the hotel director, $100 for the police guy with the white polo shirt, and $100 for the police guy with the blue polo shirt, and for somebody else, from the chief officer from the station. So what was interesting was that even the guy who tried to get me out of jail said, yeah, you're gonna have to pay for this, and I was like, I don't have cash. And he was like, yeah, let's go just to the bank. And I was like, okay. So we drove with his car outside of the police station to go to the bank. So, and I was like, can we just drive home? So it's like, because we're already outside, they can never trace me, It's like I don't even have a passport with me. Like I only had like a driving license, right? And he was like, no, we need to pay. And then I just took like $500 and paid everybody. I think they screwed me completely.
Yeah, they like ran a background check, saw that you were starting to crush it with like network marketing. And they were like,
what's crazy? Like even the police guy asked me all the time for money afterwards. He was like, hey, can I have money? He got I was talking, but I'm always friendly to everybody.
Yeah.
And I was just like talking. He was like, oh, this guy's nice. And he even gave me his phone. That was interesting. And I was like talking, can I get a phone? And I didn't remember my Instagram password. And I messaged my brother, I shoot him a voice message. I was his phone, I logged in on his phone. It was like an old iPhone 7. And I said, hey bro, they're gonna put me, I'm in jail in the Dominican Republic. I don't know if I get out, how I get out, but I just want to let you know. But don't tell anybody. It's like, I think I get out, and he did immediately. He called my mom. And he said,
of course.
Alex, it's like, Alex is in jail. Like this, like straight, Alex in jail. And then my mom was like quiet for like a few minutes, and then she started crying on the phone, because if you're in Dominican Republic in jail, you never know if the guy comes back, like you hear all the crazy stories. And lucky that I just got out. But that was real crazy, and I had this phone, and he gave me the phone, and the funny story was, and I went on Safari on the browser. Yeah. The first page what came up was like a porn page. It's like X and XX, even the people in the Dominican Republic are watching that shit. They're crazy. But but that's how it went, and then I went out and I made an Instagram live, I remember. I said, this is the reason why I went to jail yesterday. And that got like a lot of views, holy shit. But then I really learned a lesson. I was like, not everything like rainbow and sunshine, and you cannot feel that you are like a hero only because you live in Dominican Republic now. You know? So that was crazy, but it was an interesting experience.
So how long did you live in Dominican after that until you moved to like your next country?
7 months.
7 months.
And where did you go next?
Then I went on a quick trip to Miami. Then I went to Austria, and then I didn't like Austria, and I went to Dubai.
Okay.
And I stayed for one month in Dubai, then another month in Dubai. Then I went to Austria. Then I didn't like Austria, and then I moved to Mexico.
Okay. What's Dubai like?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to Dubai.
Bro, it's crazy, man. This is like the ultimate city. It's like you see like different places, like Colombia, but if you could, it's like a video game. If you could upgrade a city to the highest echelon, it would be Dubai.
Is it just like Miami on steroids, or
the interest?
Some similarities?
Yes, but it is definitely newer, completely clean. Not a single homeless person, not a single street animal, and it's crazy. They have no crime. You can just leave the phone everywhere. It's like nothing happens.
Wow.
And
I've seen like the Tate videos. He's like, yeah, if you're in Dubai, like I'll go to the gym. I'll like have my keys to my McLaren or whatever, put it on my car like windshield.
It's crazy because
go to the gym for 3 hours, come back to my car and my keys are still there. Like he was like, that's how safe Dubai is.
You know what's interesting in Dubai? It's like they have like the mentality is really attractive to so many entrepreneurs. So because even when you arrive at the airport, you see like a sign, and it is like the UAE where the impossible doesn't exist. And it's like a fucking like a bold statement.
Yeah.
You come in like, holy shit, these dudes
They're
are
really
rolling.
like that.
So, yeah. So and that was crazy. And they have like everything is like maxed out. Highest infinity pool, highest building. Everything is new. Everything is white marble. A crazy, man. It's ridiculous. It's an experience.
So how much did you spend in Dubai when you were there? Like, was it expensive? I'm assuming, or?
Yeah, but not more expensive than here.
Really?
The same. Definitely. It's what I calculated when I was there and how is it now? It's definitely equal to Miami.
And you were by yourself for that too, or were you with your?
I was by myself, yes. Because the thing why I went there was because my business almost collapsed, and I need to learn how this really works. Because I was good at recruiting people, but I was bad at leading my team. So there was one guy, it was a German dude, and he was really crushing it in the game. So I flew to Dubai because I called him. I was like, look, I want to learn from you. So and we had a meeting at the Caesars Palace, and I asked him like, what is the thing that I do wrong? It's like I do this game for like 3 years. I lost all my team when I was in Dominican Republic. Like, what do I need to do? And he told me that it's not over when someone signs up, because I was always like hunting the commission. You know, when someone gets started, buys a product package. The mistake what I made is like I just kept working with them, but what I had to do is I had to make them successful, and that was the thing what I learned during the trip. And that was the initial reason why I went there, because I knew that this guy is there, and he didn't reply to my messages because I was not that big in the business that I got his attention. So I just flew there, and I was like, if I'm here, and I just knock on the door, it's like I need to make it happen.
100%.
And what stirred you to leave Dubai? Like, what was the drawback where you were like, I need to try somewhere else? Because you were only there for 2 months, you said.
Yeah, because money was tight.
Okay.
So and then I went to Austria and I started to rebuild again my business, you know, because after that it was more expensive than I expected, like hotels and everything, you know. Because I came from Dominican Republic where I paid like $400 a month, and now I pay like
nothing.
2,500, but I didn't even make that at this point because my business collapsed, you know. And I was like, shit, it's going crazy now. Getting a little bit nervous here.
So you're basically just like financially you're running out of runway. You decide, I'm going to book a flight back to Austria. Is that like moving back to your hometown, or is it a nearby city? Is this it's going to be a temporary arrangement? You're like, I'm going to go there, get back on my feet, then move again? Or what was the process?
Yes. So I went back to Austria because my mom had a huge house, or still have a huge house. And so there are enough rooms to just stay in and work and grind, you know, and no distractions. And so I just went there and made a plan. So what I do next. And afterwards I went to Mexico. And the thing is, I truly had the feeling that this destination will fulfill me completely, because Dominican Republic was too less developed. You know, when you are from Europe and then you are in Dubai and then you go to, that was sometimes crazy, man, because it was like sometimes even the toilet didn't work. You know, and once I remember I was walking I had like it was a gated community, and they had like the pipes for the water for the apartments. They are just like laying on the grass. It's not that they are like digged in like in a civilized country, right? So and I walked there and I saw how a guy parked his car out of the slot and just ran over the pipe, and it was like, and it came up like all the water. Right. So and I was like, I'm 100% sure if I go back to my apartment, I don't have water. You know, so then you just come from the beach, you know, like sandy, sweaty because you walk in the sun, you know. Then you turn it on and there's just one drop. That's like shit. You know? And then it takes like 3 hours, and then you can shower again, and there's like fuck. And in the beginning, it's like, you know, you accept it, but at the end, after like 6 months, it really started to bother you.
Yeah.
There's like, fuck, why do I live like in the middle age? You know, if I could live somewhere different.
Yeah.
So you go to
Mexico.
Yeah, it's the same question.
Exactly. Then I was in Mexico because there was an incentive trip from the company that I worked with. Like they had like all the time incentive trip, like the first one what I mentioned in Bali. So you could qualify for the trips and you get like a 5-star hotel for like 5 nights. They booked you a massage voucher for like $500. Like they really treat you like a king, you know.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. So and they had like the incentive trip was in July, and I came to like 1.5 months before, and I just landed in Playa del Carmen. But how I picked this place was like I was looking at Cancun and I was looking in Tulum, and then I was like, what's in the middle? You know, so Playa del Carmen. So why not? And I just Playa del Carmen, went there, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
That was fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
I've been to Playa del Carmen.
Playa's awesome.
It's like a little beach town, you know, like you have like the chill vibe, but still more developed, you know, like a nice gym. And I had a great time there.
So I feel like all those places, like the DR, and well, because you were in what, like Cancun area or not?
In Punta Cana.
Punta Cana.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've always been like kind of like touristy
Yeah.
/ like all inclusive like resort side of things.
But I wasn't an all inclusive. I was literally living in an apartment, like how people.
Yeah. But just in that same
In
area.
that realm of
Yeah,
environment.
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
And so you're in Mexico, you think you're going to go there, it's going to be developed, but it's still going to be beach and sunshine and beautiful. You're going to be able to run your business, kind of have the best of both worlds. How long are you in Mexico? What ultimately pushes you to leave? You know, tell us more about that now, the Mexico chapter.
I was 2 months there. Then after the incentive trip, I went to. My grandmother had her 80th birthday. That was the thing. And I had an apartment and my lease expired because I rented this for 2 months. And then I went to Austria, and because my grandmother had her 80th birthday and I surprised her, that was really cool. And after that we had an event. We had like every year like a huge convention with like 10,000 people who were celebrating, you know, like day creams and night creams and stuff like this. They're really good at that, creating a brand,
Yeah.
you know. And after that I was in Dubai again. Because there was another incentive trip, so I qualified for everything. You know, it was like that was the rule.
What
that
are
I
these
followed.
incentive trips? Like, I need to look.
That's
why are we
fucking
doing
awesome.
this? Why are we? What are these trips? Because like,
So you have to
Dubai,
understand. It's like network marketing in general works like McDonald's franchise. So
Okay.
you have like a system, and you get their products, and you sell the products, and at the same time you give other people the opportunity that they build their own business as well with the system. And for every sales volume they generate, you get like a chunk.
And what's like the company that like sponsors these like types of events that you apply for?
The companies.
Okay.
But in order to qualify, you also have to bring in a lot of sales volume.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like I have to make, I would say, approximately $50,000 in sales, but we sold like $2,500 packages, for example. And that allowed you to qualify for those trips.
Okay.
And you had like a specific time frame. So they always had found a way for you that you could never slow down, basically. Because if I have like 3 months where I qualify for the trip, after the 3 months, the trip qualification finished, but they had another thing. For example, 50% more commission. And then you're like, shit, I cannot slow down now because I get more money when I work now. No? Like after the 1 month, something different comes. So, and this is how they keep the distributors motivated.
So, a couple things, just side questions. I think myself, other people, a lot of people watching this video, you know, there's a few common kind of schools of thought around network marketing, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously not all of them are positive, as with everything.
Of course.
You know, we sell an info product. Everyone says that's bullshit. Info products are scams. You know, everyone has their opinion on everything, right? But from a network marketing perspective, right? So I worked for Cutco. Have you ever heard of Cutco?
No, what is it?
It is a network marketing company that sells cutlery.
Cutlery.
Like
Knives,
Okay.
kitchen knives, stuff
Okay.
like that,
Okay.
right? So what their strategy is, they find all these high school, maybe college age kids, like 16 to 20, and they tell them, oh, you know, you seem like you'd be perfect for this. You know, you seem like you're so savvy and you're so hardworking. Bring them in. And they say, well, to get experience, book all these sales calls with your parents, your aunts, your uncles, your friends' parents, right? And then they only pay commission. So there's no risk for the company. They get all these kids to sign up, and then their parents and aunts and uncles and cousins and friends' parents want to support them. So they go and they buy the cutlery from them, and the kid gets a little commission, and then the kid who referred that kid gets a commission, and then the manager of their branch gets a commission, and that, you know,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
And so a lot of people have this notion that it's a pyramid scheme, right? Are you familiar with that term?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the pyramid scheme is that, you know, you've got this person at the top, and they're supposed to build a team who builds a team who builds a team who builds, and if you're close to the top, you can be very successful because you have a lot of people under you all making you money on the way up, right?
Exactly.
Now, as someone who has now worked in the space, but not only worked in the space, coached other people in the space, what are your thoughts around network marketing? Do you think network marketing is something that you should be going to your friends and family about? Do you think it's something you shouldn't, or is it really about whether you love the product that much? You know, for someone who's hearing this and they immediately think network marketing, scam, well, you know, what do you say to that?
The thing is, you can never build a huge organization by just talking with family and friends. That's it's the same if I open up a restaurant here in Miami and I call you guys up and I say, hey, I'm gonna open, and we make like a huge party. I invite a promi, a photographer, and we have like a party on Saturday. But on Monday, do you guys come? Monday, lunchtime, evening? No, you just came once, right?
Yeah.
But what do I do as an owner? I try to market my restaurant as good as I can. Most people, what they get wrong in network marketing, they think they make a lot of money by talking to family and friends. But the problem is, the people that you already know is just for practice, your communication skills. The real business starts when you start to look for new people to build your business. And I think in general, the industry is way too big to label it as a scam.
Yeah.
Because they make around $300 billion in sales.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, and that's impossible. People say it's scam because they get into the business with the wrong impression in the beginning, and they're like, oh, I talk to 5 people and then I get rich. Because the person who brought them in the business just talked to 5 people and then you make a lot of money, right? And they have like the idea, I talk to 5 people and then everybody said no and I'm still not successful. So, and this is why, this is what holds them back most of the time.
Look at the life insurance industry.
Yep.
It's
a great example.
That is a pyramid scheme. Life insurance is a pyramid scheme, but there's so much money in that industry. Like
People are printing in that industry.
I mean, and the thing is, it actually is a valuable, viable product. Obviously, life insurance is a real thing. But the problem is when you're selling the wrong policy to the wrong person, or you're forcing a policy on someone that doesn't need it, you know, when you're in it only for making money, it becomes problematic. Because then it's just about getting someone on the phone to close a deal. And life insurance, in my opinion, is not something that should be forced on something. It's one thing to be pushy with someone to buy a set of knives or, you know, whatever.
Those knives are good. Like,
and they're great knives, right? Like awesome. They are. Yeah. I still use a set in mine. And it's hilarious because
they're fire.
They are. They're great. It's a great product. And like, I always felt confident selling the product because I knew the product was good. But at the same time, I also felt like, should I be making money off the backs of my friends and family? You know, I would rather make money off of strangers, for lack of a better word. But then at the same time, it's if they actually want the product is actually viable and valuable to them, whether it be insurance or supplements or, you know, Pampered Chef. Do you guys know Pampered Chef? That's like another huge network marketing. It's like Tupperwares and mixing bowls and all that. And, you know, all of that stuff is like, I think it is, if you're selling it to the right person with the right intention, I think it can be great. The other thing, I think the reason why it gets a bad rap is because I think people, they misconstrue what it means to be a business owner by trying to convince people that joining a network marketing organization just automatically makes you a business owner.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you a business owner to sell some products to 5 of your friends and family and then one of them signs up to sell the products themselves. You're not a business owner at that point. You have no systems, you have no infrastructure, you have no, you know, it's essentially was the first version of like influencer marketing. Because in my opinion, influencer marketing is the same thing. The only difference is you don't get tiered commission. If I sell to you and then you sell to John, I don't get a commission on that second sale. But influencer marketing is the same thing. You get people around you who trust you, they respect your judgment, they emulate you in some way, and because you use a product, they want to use it. It's the same idea. Again, I wouldn't say that that's being a business owner. Being a social media influencer and peddling a product doesn't make you a business owner.
Yeah. Are you familiar with life insurance, like how that industry works?
A little bit,
Yeah,
but
so-
it's in Austria, for example. I think there's not a single company where it's not a scam.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So I talked to someone before, and she was like, yeah, I have a life insurance, and I went out after 2 years, and I paid in 2,500, and I got out 1,600.
Yeah.
Right, it's crazy. But I just want to cycle back real quick for the topic you mentioned. That is not a real business. What I truly believe is that network marketing is the best thing if you have an entrepreneurial bone in you. I tell you why. Because it's a business what you can start without the headaches what a traditional entrepreneur has. So because you have a team of people, you don't owe them anything, and they only get paid if they produce results.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is interesting. So you don't need to talk about shipping. You don't need to talk about making a web page. You don't need to talk about creating the product, marketing materials. Like, you get everything provided. So the only thing what you have to focus on is talking to people and sharpen your skills. And what I understood after 5 years in the game, the skills what I acquired in that business are truly valuable for everything. It doesn't matter what it is, because when you have like a business, everything comes down that you can never make money. The thing is, you take money from somebody else. So you need to find a way that you get the people that they pay you the money, what they have in their pockets.
Yeah.
So, and this is what you truly learn in network marketing, like how to speak concisely, how to speak with energy, how to speak with conviction. And this truly helps you in every situation of life. It doesn't matter if you try to date somebody. It doesn't matter if you sell a product. It doesn't matter if you do something completely different. If you're in a difficult situation, the person with a high skills in communication always wins. And this is what you practice during that period tremendously. And even if I wouldn't make any money in the business, or just barely to come by, or just barely to survive, the skills that I learned truly made me to the person that I am today.
Yeah, and like the people that are like commenting, oh, MLM, scam, like whatever. It's like
Those are like stupid people.
Yeah, those are the people that can't sell like a fishing pole to a fisherman.
Exactly. But they are like they're also like, I'm gonna sign up in the gym, but then I'm still fat after a year.
And I'm not gonna go.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
it only works if you just do it.
Wait, tell him what it was you, the homeless guy that was like telling you that, like today at Publix Cafe or whatever.
Oh yeah, some homeless guy. Literally, we are waiting to get our coffee, and we're at this like walk-up window.
Publix Cafe.
Yeah.
Publix
no.
Cafe, yeah. And this like homeless looking guy comes up to us, old, really weathered skin, gnarled teeth, right? And he stops us and he said, "Can I say something to you guys really quick?" And I'm like, we're like, sure, right? We're thinking he's gonna ask for money or something like that. And he just looks me dead in the eyes. Like, he addressed the whole group. Bro only wanted to talk to me. Like, he looks me dead in the eyes, and he basically is just like, "You are completely red. You need to wear sunscreen or you're gonna get skin cancer." And like, that was it. Like, that's all he said. And then he's like, "Have a great day." Like, he just walked up to say that to me. And then he looked at John and he's like, "He's doing good. He's not burnt. You need to do better." And he looks at me and he's like, "Melanoma is a real thing. You have to be afraid of that, or you have to be worried about that."
Yeah, it's like, dude, you're homeless. Like, the way that you describe it, he's like, "I'm 74, I'm homeless, like I have like a ton of problems going on right now, but like you."
So you really fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the same type of thing. It's like, people will literally stop what they're doing to comment and be like, "You don't know what the fuck you're talking
They
about."
came to you and say, "You're a fucking failure."
Yeah, you're an idiot.
Your life is fucked up.
Yes,
Look at me, I'm great. I don't have a sunburn.
exactly. It's like, I don't have one thing that
Going
you
for me.
do have, and then, people can easily target that and
It's
say
interesting.
whatever.
They only see the negative, right?
Yes, and people only see things through the lens of their own life, their own perspective. So if the only thing that was ever important to this guy was not getting skin cancer, he thinks he's a winner.
Exactly.
Right? That's it. And if the only thing that was ever important to somebody fucking scrolling on the internet is calling out somebody else or seeming smart on the internet, right? They're just going to be a troll in the comments. They're going to say whatever, right?
Exactly.
All the time we get people that comment on all of our videos and they are like, oh, you know, this is a scam, or this is bad business, or this is whatever. And we're like, you can tell not a single one of these people has made any money, has ever run a business, has ever done anything even similar, because the people that actually get it,
Yeah.
and everyone else, they don't. But the internet has given everyone a platform to be very vocal and to share their opinion like an expert, even when they're not.
I always imagine when someone is like writing a hate comment, it's like, how do I have to, in what situation I have to be that I just take my phone, I look at the video and I say, no,
To a stranger.
that's shit.
Yeah.
Like
That's
someone that you don't
completely
know.
nonsense what you write, dude.
Yes.
And then like, it doesn't work. Send. Now I feel good.
Yeah.
That's stupid. I discovered it. That's stupid. That doesn't work. You know,
Yeah.
it was like, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
But the
Yeah.
thing is, they probably do that 30 times a day.
Yeah.
Every video they see, they're like, I need to put my input on it.
Yeah.
Like, these
To go.
guys are waiting for my response.
And the algorithm just eats it up, bro.
They want that dopamine rush of like 9 likes on their post.
Yep.
Comment,
Yep.
Whatever.
The algorithm loves it too, because then they just keep putting the content on their page because they know it gets them to stop scrolling and go comment and go engage. And yeah.
I always roast them completely. So for
You
example,
gotta
when-
respond to them with like a kind of frame it where like they have to respond back to you.
the thing is, I always look through that person, why he's commenting that. So, and I had a couple of times situation where some people just hate on me, you know, but I have it very rarely. I don't know why. It's like maybe like every 4 months somebody like comments somewhere, and I always know that this person can never live the life what I have. So, and for example, when they say, oh, that's shit, blah, blah, and just try to get attention.
Yep.
I just roast him and I just say, you're just pissed because you sit somewhere in Germany, it's raining, and you have just fucked up your whole life. You know, it's like, because I just know where it comes from. It comes from that. And like,
Yep.
it doesn't matter what I share like sun, beautiful, you know, Miami, the good life, and they sit in the rainy, dirty Germany, and the thing what they have to do is like, this guy shitting in the mirror, I need to hate on him. Shut up. You know, it's like,
the Germans.
yeah, but that's the crazy, man. Instead of like, I also need to do something with my life. I hate on somebody who's doing something, right?
I mean, the
like
people,
how
that, the
stupid
people
am
that
I?
comment that are just insecure. Like
Exactly.
they have a lot of insecurities that they're like too scared to face or like approach or like sit down and evaluate, and like it's just a way to distract themselves from their current situation. And
Yep.
it's like, I'm gonna just put my anger out on this random guy that's in Miami that's
Exactly.
clearly like living a happy, fulfilling life.
Exactly.
Because there's no successful people that I know that spend their time commenting that on other people's shit.
Yeah.
They have
They
too
have-
much
they
to
have
do.
better things to do.
Yeah. Like, I mean, no successful person takes an hour out of their day to go write hate comments.
Maybe they put it in their calendar like a schedule. you know?
Yeah, it's
like,
just-
we have
block
calls.
off an hour a day.
Hate comments. So from 6 to 10.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I am always someone that says like, entrepreneurship is not for everyone.
Yeah.
Being a business owner, being a remote worker, it's not for everyone. Some people don't want to do it. And if you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you love what you do, if you love your career, if you get fulfillment from your work, say someone like a surgeon, right? Or some financial professional or a teacher, or, you know, and they love what they do and they get joy from that and they can have a lifestyle that they're happy with, by all means, stay there. Keep doing that. Again, I don't ever see those people commenting hate comments or creating problems or anything. It's never them. It's the people who are unhappy with their lives, the people who are living unfulfilling lives, and they wish they could be doing something different. Because whether or not you're an entrepreneur, whether or not you believe in, you know, the trying to make money online, whether or not you want this financial freedom goal, like the people who don't give a shit about that, they just don't give a shit about it. Like they don't talk about it at all. Mm-hmm. They don't go out of their way to say, this is fake, this is a scam, this doesn't work, because it's just of no consequence to them. They're like, I'm in my lane doing what I like and I'm happy. You're in your lane doing what you like and you're happy.
Yep.
Done.
Exactly.
No happy person hates on another person being happy.
That's completely nonsense. That's
Yep.
it's just a reflection how shit your life is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And now we are kind of now arriving at current day in your story. So we've made it to Miami now. You said August of last year. Okay.
So I moved here in this building because I've been here for about a year and a half, but I came to
We were the first 4 months we were up in Airbnbs, just hopping around in Miami.
Oh, okay.
And then you settled here in Parklines,
Yeah.
and then that was what, like 6 months ago now?
Yeah, it was in December. They had a sick offer. The first month's rent was free.
There you go.
It's like they didn't give me that. Like I
Bro,
was,
that was crazy.
like D'Amico's getting a month and a half. Like,
Really?
Preston's gonna. Be
I was like,
here in
holy
2 months.
shit! When I saw this, like that doesn't exist in Austria.
Well, they have
Give me
some
that.
They have a lot of fees that they throw in.
Yeah.
It's like,
You have to tip on that free month. But
I had to pay like $6,000 when I moved in because it was like
Yeah, rent and
prorated
yeah.
rent, like security deposit,
Yep.
like whatever. It was like $6,500.
But
And
bro,
they didn't give me a free month.
the thing is, you can't imagine how difficult it is to live in the States if you're not from the States. Bro, this is next level. Like most people that live in the States don't even know that kind of process.
Yeah.
So for example, if you are from Europe, you have already more advantages if someone is from Canada or like Mexico. But I need to tell you this because this is crazy. If you want to go to the States, you need to submit a document online. It's called an ESTA visa. And you are allowed to stay 3 months.
Yep.
And then you have to leave. So what I did, I stayed 3 months. I organized another visa. It's called B1, B2 for business tourist purposes. I organized that in Bratislava because they had an appointment available in the next few days. So I went back to Bratislava to make that appointment. I came back to the States and they roasted me completely at the border. They're like, okay, you were here 3 months before. You were 1 week outside of the country and now you're back. How long have you planned to stay? And I was like, 6 months? Well, how can I stay with the visa? And he was like, no, because you stayed already 3 months and they took me like in office. You know, they didn't, like, not that they have border control. They just like, oh, we need to talk to this guy. And then it was like, then they wrote on the paper like, nervous, 190 centimeters tall. And I was like, oh. And then they took, and there was a guy completely.
they said medium build. You were like, what the fuck?
Medium
build?
It's like insult. So, and then I was in the office and there was like a guy like one head taller than me, like big, and he looked at me and was like, "What are you doing in the States?" And I was like, "I do this, you know, and like I want to develop myself because business and it's better in the States and stuff like that." And they asked me so many questions like, "How much money do you have?" Like stuff like this, and then they gave me only until 5th of January.
It's my birthday.
Nice.
Yeah,
They knew it maybe.
January 5th.
And when were you coming back in now? How long was that? Like a month, 2 weeks, 3 months?
They gave me an additional 3 months.
Okay.
But I found out that you can extend it. So I had a lawyer file for an extension. So I extended the visa, now I can stay until July. At the same time, I organized another visa that is called like EB1A if you are a talented individual, if you won an award and stuff like this. And I won an award in my network marketing career. So we submitted the whole case to another, and they are like processing it right now, but it takes like 6 months. But it's crazy. They're like, in Mexico, you can stay like 6 months, you go 1 day to Colombia, go back, and another 6 months.
So my question is,
Same thing with Costa Rica.
you're here for 3 months. You're not like someone that's gonna get in trouble, and your 3 months are up. You're supposed to go back. Let's just say you don't. Like, what's the protocol for that? Do they just knock on your, like, do they know where you live? Like, is there someone that's job is to...
The problem comes when you leave the country.
Okay, but what if you never leave the country? Is it...
There's
is
no,
the-
I mean, if there would be the home security, maybe you have like a car accident, they check your visa and stuff like that and find out.
so it's like if you get pulled over, if
Yeah.
like you get in trouble, like if you're an issue.
So for example, if I
somewhere.
get pulled over and they ask me like what kind of visa, or like they see maybe in my Austrian driving license, since when are you in the States, and I say, I don't know, like 8 months ago, what visa do you have? Oh, it's expired, you know, and then it's like, then it's shit.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you leave the country, it's really crazy. You're not allowed to enter if you're illegal in the country for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So if I wouldn't extend that visa and I would stay more than the 5th of January, and I would live on the 10th of January, and I would try to come back, I could never be I could like 10 years like banned from the country.
Wow.
They're really strict.
10 years is a long time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So currently your visa goes until July, you said, and you're waiting to hear back on this EB exceptional visa.
Exactly. The guy who helped me with the visa told me that you can also extend the B1, B2 another time. And he said it's like a 100% guarantee that they allow it.
So once you get that, what will that buy you a whole nother year or 2 years or?
Yes, then you could also get the green card.
Okay.
Through that.
Because then you've been here for so long.
The thing was that entire case, we prepared the case, was ridiculous work. The guy wrote, I would say, like 21 pages. Why I have to be valuable for the States. And I even had to come up with 7 recommendations letter of people in network marketing that they say my work is great and is contributing to the environment and economy in the States.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's fucking weird, man.
I just helped a friend do his EB1 visa.
Really?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. He was we're applying for the same thing. He works as an agent in the sports world, and we played together at the semi-professional level. And he went and said, he's exceptional in the sports management field, and went and got like 20 recommendation letters from 20 different pro athletes who he helped them progress their career.
Yeah.
And and it was the same type of case. And I wrote a letter for him and did all that. And he explained the whole process to me like 3 weeks ago. So it's funny that you're bringing it up because I didn't know anything about it until we had a conversation. So it's interesting. I really think it's good we have these programs. Obviously, it'd be nicer if they were a little more accessible for everyone and a little bit easier, and you didn't have to spend all this money.
You just go to the border. You just walk over.
Yeah, you could always do that.
Or you just marry a girl from the States.
Buy a kayak.
Yeah, that too. So you're in Miami now. You've been here 10 months, let's call it 9 months. When we met a couple days ago and we talked about everything, you said this was your favorite place yet. You feel like this is the closest thing to that paradise you were looking for. I'm assuming it's because you get the beautiful weather, you get the beach, you get the coastal lifestyle, but then you also have very much first world, a lot of young people, modern, everything is very nice and new. So for you, are you thinking the foreseeable future you stay here? Is this a pit stop before you start traveling and go somewhere new again? Or is this the type of thing where you're kind of like, I'm just going to stay here until I want to leave?
Yeah, this is how I live my life so far. So I just stay until I don't have the feeling and I don't like it anymore. So even that happened in Dominican Republic after like 7 months. I walked down the street and I knew it before. I was like, one day there will come a day where I'm just sick and tired of seeing that same thing. All right. So then I need to change. And so far that didn't happen in Miami. And I still like it. The thing is, I really want to take the full advantage of being here. The events and the people that you meet, it's crazy. It's impossible to create an environment like that somewhere in Austria or stuff like this. For example, I'll give you an example. I went to Utah. There was like an event. And I saw like people that I watched 5 years ago on YouTube were so far in distance, I couldn't even imagine that I meet them, right? Like David Goggins and stuff like this, right? Yeah. And they are like people, they built something, or even Keaton Hoskin, if you know this guy, the Limitless Society. These are people where I look up to them, because what they built, like the coaching business, the huge communities, they bring in like 7,000 people into an arena just because of they built a massive personal brand. Yeah. And I think there is nobody like in all the other countries who are that advanced like people in the States. And I think this is like what people sometimes don't even understand when they live here. The gift what you have of being, for example, even I met Justin Waller and he's also like living in Miami. Like I saw him.
We met him like 6 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. But this is like also when like how to get into the field of highly successful people. All right? It's like you gotta pay to play. So I went there.
Pay to play.
What's interesting is I was there and there was like a VIP section and I didn't have a VIP ticket. And I saw Justin Waller from distance. And I was like, I need to like shake his hand, so that he knows who I'm at, need to take advantage. And there was a security girl and I said, look, can I just go real quick to Justin? I want to ask him something. And she was like, no, that's only for VIPs. And then I said, okay. And then I looked at her and I said, look, it's very important. Can you bring
her up real quick?
Like, can you just bring Justin to me real quick? And she looked at me and she said, I said, it's important. And she said, okay. And then she just went to him and she's like, oh, Justin. And then she like pointed to me, and I looked at him, and I said, hey, come here. You know, it's like, so if I would know him, right?
Yeah,
So he goes, hey, what's up? And he was like, hey, Justin, man, I love your content, you know, like stuff like that. And we just talked a little bit. It's like, hey, I'm living in Miami too. You know, I was just like network with him, you know, we talked a little bit. And for me, that is always, even when I was in network marketing, like actively, I was always looking, like, who are the big players?
Yep.
I just give me your handshake and like steal a little bit of your energy.
Yeah.
Right, it's like, so give me a little bit of that what you have, right? So it's like, I want to be in that environment, and that helped me already so much to like become more visible by just going out of my comfort zone. Of course I can sit somewhere and look a little bit, you know, and I can say, I don't want to get up, but I was like, I'm here, and she's like, bring it to me, come, do it, you know? And so, because I need to take advantage of the opportunity. It's like, I don't miss a shot,
Yep.
you know?
You look big in front of Waller, or do you think he could take you? He's a big dude.
He's bigger than me.
Yeah.
Peptides.
Peptides. It is
He's
actually.
also like TRT probably.
Yeah, definitely. He's got a nice stack for sure.
Yeah, I mean, construction guy, you know, like strong grip.
Yep.
I was like, all right,
He's a beast.
He is.
definitely.
He's a real.
Mark and John have both been telling me now, you know, the value of living down here. And so I am from the Midwest, right? I'm from Chicago originally. Now I live in Wisconsin. And if you're not familiar with that area of the States, it's a completely different world. Like, totally different.
Is it more like countryside or like?
It's not countryside. It's small city. So, you know, where I grew up in Chicago, it was the suburbs. It's mostly single family homes. You know, it's not high rises and stuff like this. It's still densely populated, but not like a city. And then where I currently live, it's like a mini city. You know, it's like 300,000 people, which is a city, but like nothing like Miami. You know, it's not even
But
close.
how much has Miami? Not much more, 500?
Yeah,
No.
Miami only has like 500,000.
Really?
Yeah, it's really small.
It might be 600 now, but
Yeah.
it's
Okay, but still, I mean, that's still, you know, double. So
Yeah.
still twice the size. And the thing and maybe Madison might even be more like 250, 200. So it's a city, but it's not like this. And the other difference is two main things. One, lifestyle is totally different. There's very few entrepreneurs, very few, you know, people that are just in that life path. Most people are very W-2 oriented. There's a lot of laborers. There's a lot of union workers. There's a lot of, you know, that type of work. Blue collar is a good way of describing it. And then the other thing is cost of living is completely different, right?
How much
You
is
know,
it there?
I rent a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. It's like 1,150 square feet. It's a big apartment, and you know, nice balcony, brand new unit. I pay $1,800 a month for the whole thing.
Crazy.
Nice. I'm gonna go up there.
Yeah.
Right? $1,800 a month for that place here. 4,500, 5,000 maybe.
I just made a
Jackson
video.
place.
I posted it today.
I saw
Like, how
that.
much do I pay in Miami? It's like in total with rent, groceries, eating outside with my girl is $6,350.
And what is your apartment size?
I would say 80 square feet.
800.
Do you have a 1 bed or a 2 bed?
I have one bed.
So do you have the den too, like what I have, or is it just 1 bed, 1 bath?
I have one bed, one bath, but I think it's like around 80. But I like.
It's probably like 800, 900 square feet.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, so, and you pay, what is the rent then for that?
3,700.
Wait, what? 37?
No, but 37 with
100.
Wi-Fi and water and electricity.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. This,
So,
is,
yeah.
this is like 2,900 or 2,910, and then like after a couple taxes or whatever, it's 3,000. Then you got like AT&T's $80, and then it's probably like 3,200 for me for everything. But
So yeah, you have an apartment that's 2/3 of the size of mine, and you pay twice as much.
Exactly.
And that's, I mean, my fiance and I, we live on probably less than $4,000 a month total spend. All of our food, utilities, rent, groceries, going out, everything, less than $4,000 a month. Right, so I mean that means we spend $50K for the entire year.
Crazy.
he's also like really frugal.
I'm very frugal. Like, to be fair, like, we don't go out a lot. I cook all my meals at home. Like,
Yeah, that's good.
I'm a frugal person. But yeah, that's a big lifestyle change for us. We come here, totally different lifestyle in terms of being in the city, and the weather's completely different. The cost of living is double. Everything, like, that's a big adjustment for us to make. And when we come down here, we'd probably go from dual income to single income. So it'd be, my fiance currently works as a civil engineer. She makes good money. And
What is good money as a civil engineer? It's like, no idea.
75 to 80,000 a year.
Okay. Like what
So-
you keep net, what you keep net, or
On that, she probably makes five grand a month.
okay.
So she makes enough to cover all of our expenses. Everything that I make is profit. It goes
Yes,
into
sir.
investments. It goes into everything that we want to do on the side. So if we moved here, she'd probably stop working, or do something different. Maybe work for my business, maybe do something like that. So it's a big lifestyle change. But like you said, the network and the relationships you can make and the people you can meet, like, I will never be able to replicate that in Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's true.
It's impossible. There is no one. I mean,
Plus, there's no palm trees.
yep.
There's no water.
It snows 6 months out
It's
of the
not-
year.
yeah.
Oh shit! I can go to Austria. now.
It snows November. Last year it snowed on Halloween, so it snowed in October,
Crazy. Yeah.
and it snowed 3 weeks ago in April.
How
So
far
it
is-
snowed
how far is it
October,
from here?
November, December,
It's like a-
January, February, March, April.
A 3-hour flight from here, or
Yeah, just about. So we got snow 7 months in a row this year.
It's like, I'll pass.
crazy.
Like, it's insane. Now the summer is fantastic. Like May, June, July, August, incredible. But the rest of the year is shit. So
the summer's fantastic, but like that's just what the rest of the world lives the whole year.
the rest of the world, no, you guys melt. Everyone leaves here for the whole summer and goes to Wisconsin.
Bro, when I was in Mexico, that was wild during summer. It's like you go out, it just starts. Usually I don't sweat a lot,
You're
but
panting.
Yeah,
bro, this is next
Yeah.
level.
can't even breathe.
It's really hard to breathe.
When were you in Bali? Were you in Bali in the summer? Because Bali in the summer is crazy, I've heard.
That was in summer too. Yeah, that was in July. But I didn't remember that so hot. Then I mean it was still fucking hot. But Mexico was crazy because I went out and I immediately had like a sweat field like here completely.
Yep.
That was a little bit annoying, I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's humid.
it's crazy. So we talked about a lot of stuff. Obviously, I have no idea, John. How far in are we? Did you look at the time?
Yeah, no, we're chilling. We're pretty deep. Like, it's been a good conversation.
That's a good talk.
Because what I want now is I want to see, your experiences, everything you've gone through. You've been in network marketing, building your business, and then building your coaching business now for a combined total of 7 years. That's right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So 7 years of experience you've got, and you're 28, you said?
Exactly.
So from 21 to 28, you learned a skill, mastered the skill, and then learned how to teach others the skill.
Mm-hmm.
Sum up in the simplest way that you can your like 1, 2, 3 takeaways that you would tell anyone. Obviously, we've already said learning how to communicate, learning how to sell, that's a no-brainer. You have to be able to do that for anything in life. But someone is watching this, maybe they want to do what you do, maybe they don't want to do what you do particularly, but they want to be an entrepreneur, they want to be, someone who makes money online. What advice do you have for them?
The thing is, what I realized, you really need to believe that you can pull it off.
Yeah.
So the crazy thing happened when I decided to move to Mexico. That was 1 year ago, but my business went down. So, and that was the situation when I built my coaching business, because I believe that I can help other people. So, and this is what you need to understand. So what I truly stand for is that you become the person and give it away. So it's the same if like I get in shape first and I teach you how to get in shape. It's like I mastered that skill on leading people, recruiting people, building my brand, building my social media account, getting customers on Instagram, and I mastered that skill and I give it all away. So, and what I did, the reason why it was not so difficult for me to shift into the coaching business, because I helped during the first 7 years already all the time people overcoming their challenges. So because I said to myself, if I ever crack this code in the business, I will help other people. So I put my entire life into this thing. So, and this is the reason why people come up to me and they ask me, like, how do I do this? Or I'm very bad at closing. I do this and they don't sign up, and I can tell them immediately what's the mistake, because I put my entire life into this game. And once I came to a point where I said, either become successful or I'm gonna die. So you see me at the top of the mountain or dead on the side, but I'm not coming back. So if you cannot tell me that I cannot make that happen. Because look, the crazy thing is that they're the most weirdest people out there. Like, even when the year from 1999 jumped to 2000, there were people, they made like a common suicide, I don't know how to pronounce it, like on the mountain somewhere, right? So, and if they find people to do things like this, so I'm like, come on, I was like, you cannot tell me that I cannot build a network marketing business. So, I mean, come on. So, I mean, this is, and I really help people with that. So, and that is when I really became kind of furious, you know. It's like, I do everything what it takes, and if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, but at least I tried it. So, and when I launched the coaching business, that was also interesting, so I really had to pull it off, and I came to a situation where money was really tight. So, and there was one guy who I remember this situation, and that really bothered me. You know, sometimes you have an experience what really is showing you the life how you live, right? Kind of. So, and I was there, and I was living in a hotel in Mexico, and the guy on the receptionist was like a 21-year-old Mexican guy. And the way how he managed the customer service and the way how he did things was like really weird. You know, like, I don't want to be like rude, but it was like, sometimes I looked at him and I was like, but what are you doing, you know? And one time it was crazy because he came with a scooter. And I realized, this guy has a fucking scooter. And I couldn't even buy one. so and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? So like, that you cannot tell me that I'm disciplined, I'm working out, I eat healthy, I don't drink the last 7 years, I try to be good, but I'm still broke. It's like, what the fuck am I missing out? You know, and that realization made me so angry that I really like doubled down and worked. And then it was an interesting situation. In the breakfast room, there were like 4 girls sitting, and I remember this. And they stayed in the hotel where I worked all the time for like a week. So they looked at me when they checked out, and I heard them whispering, and they said, you know, it's crazy, this guy is really hot, but he never laughed. He never smiled. Since the whole week we were here. You know, and I was like on my phone, and I just, I heard it. And I was looking, I didn't smile for a week. You know, it's like, so I didn't smile for, I was like, yeah, but I'm in the fucking war right now. You know, it's like, I really need to pull that off. And then I was like, keep doing it, you know? Like, for some people, they don't see it, but it's like, I was in my zone.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. I launched that, and I had like around $10,000, like out of nothing, just selling my knowledge for the first time ever. Nobody guided me anything. I just called my developer. I said, look, you need to make a website. I have no idea how to make a website. I cannot pay you because I cannot even pay a fucking scooter, but I can give you like 10% of the first sales that we make in the next months. And he was like, all right, got it. And then I just...
And then we were just having a conversation like 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. You launched a free school group too, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so tell everyone that's still watching this, and we're obviously going to be clipping all this up too, but you have a community that people can join to get access to you, and it's free.
Exactly. So what most people struggle is recruiting in network marketing and how to get people to join the business. So I decided to take my knowledge and put it in a recruiting bootcamp. And this is for free. And we can also put the link below that episode. It's like a recruiting bootcamp where you can learn how to recruit people in network marketing, because this skill set you free. Because you can do it in any company, it's a generic training, and people really love that. And I launched it, and it's an amazing tool, how to get started, how to get access, and how to learn how to recruit people.
And guys, I've seen this guy in our amenities floor in like one of the office spaces, like recording all the videos. So he's got like a ton of video modules for you guys when you join that. But you said that there's like 50 people in there right now? The last time that we talked?
Yeah, like 45, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a small community. So it's like, it's not like you're going to be joining something and you're never going to have access to him. Mm-hmm. Like, he's in there every single day, so we'll link that for you guys to check out. But yeah, definitely give that a look.
Come in, talk to me.
Yeah, I think it sums up to something that I have, a mantra that I've lived by, and maybe if you've heard it, you probably like it. If you haven't, you will definitely like it now. But it's this idea of like burn the boats.
Goggins.
Yep, it's Goggins, something that he also, used a lot, and the references from in the old days when they would send an army to go invade a foreign country, right? They would go there on these wooden ships, right? And when the army got aboard, when they got to land, they would get all their equipment off, they'd get all the soldiers off, and they would light the ships on fire and they would burn them into the sea. And they said, we either take over this country or we die.
That's crazy, yeah.
There's nowhere for us to go.
There's no plan B.
There's no plan B. The boats are burned.
Yeah, this is what I realized as well. So, because when I was looking for an apartment in Mexico, my plan B was, if it doesn't work, if I don't find anything, I just go to Austria because my brother has an apartment there, and I just go there. And I called him up one day and I said, hey bro, it's like, do you still have the apartment? And he's like, no, I moved to my girlfriend to Vienna. And I was like, shit. So, and then I was like, fuck. And then I kept building, and then I was like, I don't know. And I called him again. I was like, do you still have your car? He's like, no, I sold it. I was like, come on, really? It's like, okay.
You're like, I'm stealing that guy's scooter.
So I gotta steal this young kid's scooter. So because when you're in Austria, you need a car because everything is so. It's not a city where I live. It's like even you have to walk countless kilometers just to have a coffee.
Yep.
So it was like there's no fucking way I live there without a car. And if I even can't afford a scooter, I cannot afford a car. So I had to pull it off.
Yep.
And you are a fucking different man when you have to pull it off.
Yeah.
And this is what I think you really need to do this as a man, to just go through pain, go through suffering. Because if you do only the comfortable things, if you're like, of course I could be a chef, being employed, smoking weed, drinking beer every evening, having a little belly,
Yeah.
But fuck no.
Yeah.
I read a struggle.
Yep. Embrace it. Embrace the suffering. The other side of pain is the achievement and the goals that you want. And people are so focused on avoiding the struggle when they don't realize that what they want is not elsewhere. It's on the other side of the struggle. You have to go through it. There's no way around it or over it or under it.
Can't buy
you
a
go through
six-pack.
it. Nope.
Well, now you can.
You probably
Drake,
Go to
yeah.
7-Eleven. You can go.
Yeah.
All right. Does any of you guys have anything else left to add? I know we're going to add Alex's social media links. We're going to add the link to his free school. If you guys are interested in network marketing, if you're interested in the digital entrepreneurship space in general, Alex is somebody who has dedicated years of his life to mastering not just that niche, but skills that are scalable and useful across all different industries. I know I've had really a pleasure talking with you today and talking with you a couple of days ago now, and I'm excited to see what the next 2, 3, 5 years looks like for you, and obviously for all of us as well. But
And if you guys are still watching this, comment the word Cutco.
yes,
So we know that you watched the entire video.
if you watch it all the way through, comment the word Cutco. All right, guys. I think that's it. We're going to sign off, and we'll see you on the next podcast.
Thank you so much.
Later,
See you
guys.
guys.